Mike thought he had it all. Steady job, loving wife, quiet life in Raleigh. Until the late nights, the buzzing phone and the secrets shattered it all. But instead of yelling or begging, Mike went silent and strategic. You won't believe how this husband turned his wife's betrayal into the ultimate comeback without breaking a single law. It's a Tuesday night in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Mike is home early, 6 p.m., like always. Still in his work boots, dirt from the job site stuck to his jeans. He's at the coffee table with his laptop open, bidding on a new construction project. The house is dead silent. Sarah's car isn't in the driveway. No message, no call, and Mike's long since stopped checking her phone location. At first, he used to. That was when she'd at least pretend to care. At exactly 10:03, the front door clicks open. He hears the familiar rhythm of her heels on the hardwood. She doesn't say hi, doesn't even look his way. She heads straight for the kitchen, pulls out her phone and starts typing furiously, angling the screen away from him. "Where you been?" Mike asks. Not angry, just flat. Sarah glances up briefly. "Out with friends." "Till 10?" She shrugs. "I didn't realize I had a curfew." "It's not a curfew. It's called being decent. You live here. You say something." The phone buzzes again. She flips it over. "You're making this into something it's not." He stands quietly. "You don't want questions. Stop acting like you got something to hide. You're paranoid." "I'm observant." She sighs. "I'm tired, Mike." He nods. "Tired from what exactly?" She doesn't answer, just walks away. That night, Mike doesn't argue. He doesn't chase her, doesn't check her phone. He watches her walk upstairs, silent as ever, and something clicks. Not anger, clarity. Next morning, he's up at 5 a.m., coffee brewed, work emails open, Sarah's still in bed. He texts his boss, requesting early shifts starting tomorrow. Then he texts Sarah, "New schedule, early starts. Home late, no surprises." She comes down at 7:15, dressed for work. Her eyes flick to his phone. "What's with the text?" "Just a heads up, change my shift." "You cleared that with your boss?" "I don't need to clear it with you." She scoffs, stirring sugar into her coffee. "So I just rearrange my life?" "Nope, you won't have to wait up anymore." "You're being ridiculous." "Nope, I'm being clear." She stares at him like she's waiting for a fight, but he's not giving her one. "I'm not your problem anymore," he adds, "and I'm not pretending everything's fine." That afternoon, Mike meets up with Tom, his old high school buddy, at a coffee shop downtown. Tom owns a small storage business, always calm, never nosy. Mike doesn't waste time. "She's pulling away. Something's up. I'm not confronting it. I'm preparing." Tom nods slowly. "You need a unit?" "Small one, just in case." Tom whistles. "Smart. You don't wait till the house burns down." They shake on it. Tom pulls out his phone and texts him a code. Mike's got a key and a plan. 2 days later, Mike makes his next move. Sarah's family hosts Sunday dinners. Big, fake smiles, small talk, and Sarah playing doting wife. Mike texts her mother directly. "Won't be coming to dinners anymore." Asks Sarah why. That night, Sarah explodes when she sees the message. "You told my mom you're skipping Sundays? I'm done playing happy couple. You can't just cut off my family." "I didn't. I cut off the act." She glares, hands clenched. "You're isolating me." "No," Mike says. "You've been isolating yourself." By midweek, Mike hits initiative number 2. He cancels all their double dates with Sarah's friends. No more dinners with Mark and Ellen. No more being her accessory in social games. She corners him after one of the canceled plans. "You embarrassed me." "No, you did that to yourself. You're acting like I'm cheating." "I'm acting like I'm not an idiot." Sarah's phone buzzes. She silences it without even glancing at him. Then comes the Carlson barbecue. The entire neighborhood's there. Jim's flipping burgers, Linda's passing around potato salad, kids are running through sprinklers. And there's Sarah, holding court, laughing too loud, phone in hand, dressed to impress, as always. Mike helps at the grill, keeping quiet, watching. Then Sarah throws a jab across the yard. "Mike, you gonna stand there all night or join the fun?" Laughter follows, at his expense. He wipes his hands and walks over, calm but loud enough to cut through the noise. I'm good over here. You keep shining. Silence. Jim frowns. Linda sets her tray down. Even Dave, the loudmouth realtor, stops mid-laugh. Sarah tries to cover. Oh, come on, it's a joke. Mike meets her eyes. Try telling a funny one next time. The mood shifts. Sarah's smile falters. Linda places a hand on Sarah's arm, firm but kind. Mike's helping, not here for your stand-up. Even Karen, the usual loyal sidekick, chimes in. Sarah, maybe ease up. Sarah looks around, realizes she's alone in this one. The joke's over. Mike finishes his grill duty, hands the tongs to Jim, and heads for his truck. Sarah chases him to the edge of the yard. We're supposed to plan the holiday party with Dave and Karen. Party's off. Plan it without me. You're running because of a joke? I'm walking because of a pattern. He gets in his truck and drives off. That night, he sends a message to her entire friend group. No more group dinners. Don't ask. I'm out. No debate, no explanation. Just boundaries. And that's only the beginning. A week after the barbecue, Mike walks into his own house and barely recognizes it. Music's playing low, voices chatter, and strangers fill the living room. Glasses clink. Someone's laughing near the fireplace. He wasn't told about any of this. He stands in the doorway, dust from a site visit still on his jeans, watching as Sarah floats across the room like she owns the place. She spots him, smiles too wide. Hey, Mike, didn't I tell you? Just a small thing for the team. Mike drops his keys on the counter, loud. Nope, must have slipped your mind. A man on the couch, slick hair, expensive watch, leans forward. Hope we're not intruding, man. Sarah said you were cool with it. Mike looks at Sarah. She stares at her wine glass. Yeah, he says. Sarah's great at speaking for me. Laughter flickers from someone in the corner. A woman with sharp eyes raises her glass. Oh, Mike, don't be the grumpy husband. We're just blowing off steam. Mike grabs a beer from the fridge, cracks it open slow. Appreciate the invite, but I don't remember approving a company mixer in my house. Sarah's face tightens. Mike, they're just colleagues. You're making it a big deal. Am I? He leans against the counter. 'Cause it seems like I don't live here. Just fund the venue. The suit from earlier chuckles nervously. Come on, man. She's the star of the office. Cut her some slack. Mike nods slowly, eyes on Sarah. Stars don't forget to communicate. A younger coworker pipes up. Hey, Sarah, you didn't say your friend from happy hour was coming. The room goes still. Sarah freezes. What friend? You know, the guy says, casual. That dude you're always with. Saw you two last week. Now everyone's watching. Mike doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Yeah, Sarah, tell us about that guy. It's work, she says, staring daggers at her coworker. You know how it is. Mike steps forward, calm. Do I? 'Cause it sounds like you've been busy after hours. Sarah opens her mouth, but before she can speak, Mike cuts the music. The room jolts. Party's over. This isn't a co-working space. The door swings open. Mike holds it. Good night. A few people laugh nervously, waiting for Sarah to respond. She doesn't. Mike looks at the guy from the couch. We cool to stay? He asks Sarah. No, Mike says before she can. Decision's made. Guests file out. No one defends her. No one dares. Once the last person is gone, Sarah turns on him. You embarrassed me in front of my team? No, Mike says. You did that the minute you turned this house into your personal stage. You're controlling. I'm reclaiming my space. Next morning, Mike calls the bank and opens a new account. His direct deposit goes there now. No announcement, no explanation. That afternoon, he leaves a printed note on the fridge. No unapproved guests, no unscheduled events. My house, my terms. Sarah sees it that night. You can't just... I can, he says, and I have. By late September, they're at dinner with Mark and Ellen, an attempt maybe to patch things up. It doesn't last. Sarah's phone buzzes again. She glances down, flips it over, then reaches for her wine. Mike sets his fork down. You gonna answer that? It's work. Work texts you at 8 p.m.? Must be urgent. She forces a smile. Mike, don't start. Ellen leans forward. Sarah, who keeps texting you? I saw you at the bar last week with someone from your office. It didn't look like a client meeting. Sarah tightens. It's none of your business. Then stop making it everyone's problem, Mike says, voice cold. Mark tries to change the subject, but no one's listening. Mike looks at Sarah, voice steady. You've been lying. Don't do this here. Too late. I've been watching for weeks. Same number, same times. Always a man. You're being paranoid. Mike pulls his phone from his pocket. No, I'm being smart. I've got records, call logs, timestamps. Ellen stares at Sarah. He's not wrong. I saw you. Mark clears his throat. Mike, maybe cool it. Mike stands, pulls out his wallet, and throws two 20s on the table. Dinner's on me. Sarah, get your things out of my house. You're serious? She says, stunned. Dead serious. We're finished. She doesn't move, just stares. You don't mean this. Mike turns to Ellen and Mark. Take care, guys. You've been real. Then he walks out, calm, straight-backed. Sarah chases him into the parking lot. You're throwing away 10 years? No, he says, unlocking his truck. You did. You'll regret this. The only regret is waiting this long. He drives off without another word. The next day, Mike books a motel. Then he calls a lawyer. By the weekend, divorce papers are in motion. He doesn't yell. He doesn't beg. He just walks away, quiet, clear, and done. The morning after Mike leaves, Sarah blows up his phone, calls, texts, voicemails. He doesn't answer a single one. By 9 a.m., she's already messaging his boss, trying to check on him. Mike's boss forwards the email to him with a short note. Everything okay at home? Mike replies, handled. By noon, the divorce lawyer sends Sarah the first draft of the paperwork. Nothing aggressive, just clean lines and clear splits. No drama, no loopholes. She doesn't respond to it. Instead, she shows up at Mike's work site that Friday, stepping out of a rideshare, pretending it's casual. We need to talk, she says, trying to act composed in front of his crew. No, Mike says, we don't. You're doing this out of spite. I'm doing it because I'm not your backup plan. She glances around. The guys are watching. She lowers her voice. This isn't the place. You showed up here. He walks away. That night, Mike meets with his lawyer again. They go over the assets. The house will be sold, the money split, no alimony. Mike's got evidence that covers him legally if she pushes back. He's not looking for a fight, but he's ready for one. 3 days later, Sarah responds to the paperwork. One word, unacceptable. Mike sends a short reply through the lawyer. Then see you in court. The next week, Mike is back at the coffee shop with Tom. Tom slides over a manila folder. Neighbor of mine's a PI. You'll want to see this. Inside, photos. Sarah and a man from her firm. Not holding hands, but close. Intimate body language. 3 different dates. Same guy. One is from the night of the so-called work party in their house. Mike nods, unfazed. I knew it. You want to use this? Tom asks. Mike thinks for a second. Only if she lies again. At the preliminary hearing, Sarah shows up trying to play the victim. Tears, shaky voice, statements about feeling abandoned. Mike's lawyer listens, then calmly sets the photos on the table. Sarah goes quiet. Her lawyer glances at them, whispers something to her. Sarah doesn't answer. The judge looks unimpressed. The hearing ends with a clear message. Settle, or this gets public. Afterwards, Sarah corners Mike in the courthouse parking lot. You're trying to destroy me. No, you're doing that just fine on your own. I made mistakes, but this is cruel. No, Mike says. Cruel was turning our marriage into a performance and thinking I wouldn't notice. She folds her arms. He didn't mean anything. Mike looks at her, deadpan. Then you threw everything away for nothing. 2 days later, she caves. Her lawyer reaches out. She'll sign the papers as is. No fight, no more delays. The divorce is finalized in a downtown coffee shop with a neutral witness. Dan, their retired neighbor. Mike shows up 10 minutes early. Sarah walks in late. She sits across from him without making eye contact. You're really doing this, she says. I already did. Dan stays silent, watching like he's seen this story too many times. You never tried to fix it, she says. Mike leans forward. You never admitted it was broken. She clenches the pen. You'll regret this. I regret not doing it sooner. She signs. Mike slides off his ring, sets it on the table, and walks out. No words, No last look. Just done. A week after signing the divorce papers, Mike moves into a small apartment across town. It's nothing fancy, 2 rooms, a kitchen, and a shed out back, but it's his. No more tension in the walls. No more guessing games. He unpacks quickly. Tools go in the shed, clothes in the closet, and a photo from a fishing trip with Tom and Jim goes on the counter. It's not about starting over. It's about starting clean. Every Friday, Mike meets up with Tom and Jim for poker and beer. No one asks about Sarah. They don't need to. She's old news. His job picks up. He gets promoted to site manager, more responsibility, better pay. He spends weekends working on a project car in the back, something to build with his own hands, something that doesn't lie. Sarah doesn't call. She doesn't show up at his job again. She doesn't try to come back. Word floats around that she's dating a guy from her office, the same one from the photos. Mike doesn't care. He doesn't even ask. One afternoon, Mike gets a visit from Linda, Jim's wife. She knocks holding a covered dish. "Just checking in," she says, handing it over. He thanks her and invites her in. She glances around. "It's quiet here." "Exactly how I like it." Linda studies him. "You look better. Lighter." "I'm not dragging her shadow around anymore." She nods. "Took guts. Most guys wait too long. Let the storm drown them." "Almost did," Mike admits, "but not again." A few days later, Mike runs into Ellen at the grocery store. She's alone. "I heard you signed the papers," she says. "Finalized last week." She's already posting pictures with the new guy. "Figures." Ellen watches him. "You okay?" "More than okay." She nods, then lowers her voice. "She's not fooling anyone, Mike. People saw through her long before you left." He doesn't smile, doesn't gloat. "That's not my problem anymore." Later that week, Tom and Jim come over to see the car he's working on. Tom taps the hood. "You're finally rebuilding instead of just repairing." Mike shrugs. "Feels better." Jim cracks open a beer and hands it to him. "You waited for proof, not just suspicion. That's rare." "Had to be sure." "You were, Tom adds, "and you handled it smarter than most." Mike leans against the car, looking at the frame. "Next time I see the red flags, I'm not waiting for them to wave." Sarah's name comes up less and less. Mike doesn't stalk her socials, doesn't reread old messages, doesn't drive past the old house. That life is over, and he's not dragging it forward. One morning, Mike's at the job site reviewing blueprints when his phone buzzes. Unknown number. He lets it go to voicemail. An hour later, he listens to it. It's Sarah. No apology, no begging. Just a quiet voice saying, "I saw your name on the promotion list. Thought you'd want to know. I was wrong." He deletes it. That night at poker, he tells Tom and Jim. Tom raises a brow. "She wants back in?" "No," Mike says. "She just wants me to remember she exists." "Are you going to call her?" "No point. That door's not cracked open. It's welded shut." Jim laughs. "Good. You've already rebuilt the house. Don't burn it down for a ghost." Mike nods. It's not revenge. It's not a game. It's resolution. And he's already won. 6 months after the divorce, Mike's life looks nothing like it used to. And that's exactly the point. He wakes up early, hits the job site with purpose, and ends most days tired but content. His name's on the crew board now as site manager. And when he talks, people listen. Not because he's loud, because he follows through. His apartment is simple, but organized. The tools in his shed are hung with care, the project cars coming along, and every Friday the same 2 chairs in his small backyard are filled by Tom and Jim, beers in hand, stories flying. The same stories sometimes, but no one complains. Peace has a rhythm. No more tension, no more late-night questioning, no more asking himself if he's imagining things. He's not looking for a new relationship. He's not bitter, not chasing distractions. He's just present. And that's new. Word gets around that Sarah's relationship with the guy from her firm didn't last. No surprise, they were built on deception and drama, structures that never hold. One evening, Mike runs into Sarah's mom, Diane, at a local hardware store. She's polite, clearly uncomfortable. "I didn't know the full story," she says softly. Mike nods. Most people didn't. She hasn't been the same. She was never what she pretended to be. Diane wants to say more, but doesn't. Mike picks up his receipt and leaves. He owes no one an explanation. A few weeks later, Ellen texts him out of the blue. You up for a coffee? Just as friends. No weirdness. He meets her the next day at a downtown spot. They talk for an hour about work, family, the things they both missed while pretending everything was fine in Sarah's curated social life. I always thought you deserved better, Ellen says, but I wasn't sure it was my place to say it. Mike finishes his coffee. You were right, and you said enough when it mattered. They part on good terms, just two people who made it through the wreckage on opposite sides. One Saturday, Mike takes a drive past his old neighborhood, not on purpose, just part of his supply route. He slows near the house, now with a for sale sign in the yard. Sarah's gone, probably moved again. Another reset, another act. But he doesn't feel anything. No anger, no satisfaction, just distance. He parks a few blocks away, opens the tailgate of his truck, and sits for a minute. There was a time when that house was his entire future. Now, it's just a building. Four walls that held the wrong person. The real rebuild started the day he walked out. A few neighbors still keep in touch. Linda stops by once a month with food or gossip. Jim helps him with the car. Tom brings parts, beer, and bad jokes. You're the calmest I've ever seen you, Tom says one night. I finally stopped trying to fix what wasn't broken. It just didn't belong to me. Jim nods. You didn't lose a wife, you lost a weight. Mike smiles. And found my footing. Mike doesn't make speeches about what happened. He doesn't post about it online or warn people about Sarah. That's not his role. But when younger guys on the crew ask him about life outside of work, how to handle pressure at home, he doesn't sugarcoat it. Trust your gut, he says. Don't ignore patterns. And if something's eating at you every night, don't wait for it to grow teeth. They nod, some of them understanding more than they admit. That's enough. One night after wrapping up his shift and cleaning his tools, Mike sits alone on his porch. The air's still, crickets chirp somewhere off in the trees. No phone buzzing, no one waiting to pick a fight. Just peace. He doesn't toast to freedom or regret. He just sits there, hands still, heart steady. Because the win wasn't in catching her. It was in refusing to keep playing a rigged game.